Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sumukascha Yekadantascha Kapilo Gajakarnakaha Lambodharascha Vikato Vignarajo Vinayakaha Dhumaketurganadhyakshaha Palachandro Gajananaha Vakratundaha Surpakarno Herambaha Skandapurvajaha Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum Sasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopasantaye Yasyat Viradavakradhya Parishadhya Parasvatam Vignam Nigdhanti Satatam Vishwaksenam Tamasraye Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheswaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. With Bhagavan's grace, let us continue from where we left off. We were in Sutra number 53, and Narada very beautifully describes in 52, Mukaha Asvadanavate. To talk about bhakti, to describe it, it is like a dumb person, a person who's mute. He tastes something that is very delicious and he's trying to explain the taste. It's like that. It's not possible. And then we came to Sutra number 53. Prakashate Kvapi Patre. This kind of bhakti that is beyond words, beyond minds, beyond intelligence, beyond anything that you can think of. Because we are all part of that bhakti, part of that selfless love. So how can we describe that we don't have the capability to do it? We just can only experience it. But this bhakti, which is nothing but prema, is present everywhere. And as Arjuna asked Bhagavan in Bhagavad Gita, explains to him about the various Vibhuti Yoga and then Visvarupa Darsanam and all that comes, he's present everywhere. And but you can see the effulgence of that prema, that bhakti, in certain people. In fact, you can see it in every element, every item of the Prakriti, the nature, other than human beings. Because everywhere else, even if you see a flower blossoming, for example, or a seed coming into a sapling, and how something grows out of a seed, or even the grass that is green and then turns brown and goes away, or a sunset, sunrise, or the river flowing, whatever you want to see, or the way the clouds move about in the sky, just look at the nature devoid of the human intervention, the human beings and the disturbances created by us. Every other thing really is an effulgence, an unhindered effulgence of this prema. But let us try to cognize and see it in a way that we can relate to. We cannot relate to a tree, we cannot relate to a flower, but we can relate to another human being. We cannot relate to a dog or a snake or a cat or any other animal, right? But we can relate to another human being because that's what we are. And so the patre, prakasate kvapi patre, patre means patram, which means container. And we are all containers. Another way to say that is embodiments. Everything, all the material, physical manifestation of various things, right from a small pebble to a speck of sand to the distant star, everything is a patram. But talking about human beings, which we can relate to, and just the same way, if you take a pot full of water and have different pots of water, and one of them has the dirty, muddy water, another has some colored water in it, and another water is put it in a pot and it is shaking all the time, and another pot that has got very clear distilled water, very pure and all that, and the same sun shines on all of them. Where will you see the sun being reflected? Where does the sunlight actually comes out of? Only in clear water, right? Like that, among the embodiments of human beings, which the same prema is present, where there is purity of thought, word and speech, thought, word and action, physical action. And where that is present, there you will see this innate prema that shines, that becomes effulgent. Like, this is what we call as tejas in Sanskrit, right? And people who are spiritually advanced, truly selfless human beings who really or what a tremendous loving disposition. Bhagavan describes their characteristics in Bhagavad Gita in Adhyaya number 12 in Bhakti Yoga. Several descriptions he gives, and they automatically, once you start loving Bhagavan, you get all those characteristics and qualities. And one of them is a very peaceful disposition, a very loving disposition, and sarvahite rataha, he says, really desiring and wanting and experiencing and working for the benefit and the welfare and the well-being for everybody else. That comes automatically. That, along with that, comes a tejas, an effulgence, like what you see for Kanchi Paramacharya or Ramana Maharishi or people who are spiritually advanced. You will see that. And that's what Narada talks about. Prakashate kvapi patre. Kvapi, wherever, patre, in these containers, in these embodiments, where it shines. This bhakti shines there. From there, you can immediately, you can get bhakti only in the company of a bhakta. You cannot get that from Bhagavan. Bhagavan does not. Tremendous daya and compassion and love he has. He only facilitates us, gives us circumstances and opportunities and time and material and skill sets to be able to develop this bhakti that is innate to us. And bhakti, actually, we can learn that only from another true bhakta, only in the company of another true bhakta. That is where it shines. That's what prakashate kvapi patre api. But even though you cannot, continuing with Sotram number 52, even though you cannot describe it, even though it is beyond mind and words and buddhi to capture and all that, all those things we saw, but still, where patram, this container, where it is the appropriate place for it. That means like a purity, place of purity. There, prakashate, it shines, it illumines, it shows itself as tejas. Then you see, oh my God, there is something different here. Then you see the tejas is not what it is. Tejas is given by the selfless love that person is practicing, is conducting, right? Is conducting himself. That is the most important aspect. From there, in their company, automatically, you will become peaceful. You will become more loving, less selfish. Automatically at that instant it happens. That prakasham, that effulgence, bhakti shines there. And even now, when you hear the stories and glories of Gopikas, for example, automatically that bhakti shines, prakasham, it shines, right? Even though they may physically not be present. So, prakashate kvapi patre. So, Sutram number 54. Now, that continuing, Narada still talks about that bhakti only, even though it cannot be explained and described, but he talks about it. We all have this innate urge, a natural urge to talk about Bhagavan, even though we know it is something we cannot describe or explain, right? That's a beautiful characteristic of love and Bhagavan. You know, both are the same. That thing that compels us to talk about him, even though we are not really capable of describing and explaining him, but we still want to talk about him. And that is what Narada is continuing. And so in Sutra 54, he says, Gunarahitam, Kamanarahitam, Pratikshana Vardhamanam, Avichinnam, Sukshma Taram, Anubhava Rupam. Repeating again, Gunarahitam, Kamanarahitam Pradikshana Vardhamanam Avichinnam Sukshmataram Anubhava Rupam Prema Swarupam Amritva Rupam, all these things you saw. Now it's Anubhava Rupam. That's what it cannot be a nothing. It's actually Anubhavam only is what he says. Now Guna Rahit, that is a Prema, that love, that bhakti, love for God is Guna Rahitam. That means it is beyond the three tendencies, the natural tendencies that we all have. Sattva Gunam, Rajasa Gunam and Tamasa Gunam. It is beyond that. And we saw that yesterday when Narada says, Traigunyo Bhavati, Nistraigunyo Bhavati, he says that, right? In Sutram number 47. So, it is beyond those three gunas that bhakti is. That's a true bhakti, real bhakti, like what Gopikas had. Always remember Gopikas Bhakti as the example of Parabhakti, Parama Bhakti. A beautiful, there's no other example you need. That's what Narada himself gives. That's the most exalted, the supreme devotion is the Gopikas devotion. That one is Gunarahitam. Kamanarahitam. What does Kamanarahitam here means? It has no desire for rewards or results or anything like that. It is just there. It is happy. It is full. It is blissful. You desire something when you are not full. When you are deficient in something, then you desire something to fulfill it. But if you are full already, if you are Purnam, then if you are completely immersed in the ocean of water in the sea, if you are underneath that, how will you desire water? It is like that. When we are surrounded by air, when we are breathing, we are not desiring air. We are just breathing in and out. Only when the air is taken out, then we are suffocated, then we try to breathe, right? But when you are fully with it, when you are air itself, how will you desire it? So, Kamana Rahitam, without any desire. There is no desire present there. That's the nature of that prema, that love, that bhakti is. Pratikshana Vardhamanam. Pratikshana Vardhamanam. Pratikshana Vardhamanam. Vardhamanam means to grow, to become more and more and more. Not in quantity, it's a quality thing. But even quality itself, it becomes more and more in all places and becoming, it envelops you more and more. Okay? And Pratikshana. Kshana means moment. Pratik means every moment. Every moment, it is actually becoming more and more. It is increasing, growing. Growing in what? Growing in intensity, growing in fullness. Okay? Avichinnam, as we saw earlier, continuously, no breakage. Absolutely no breakage in this. It's continuous. It's a continuous flow. Sukshma taram. Extremely subtle. This bhakti, your experience, anything you experience is really subtle. That you cannot, because it's beyond, your experience can never be described in words. You can write volumes about it, you can give hours of speech on it, you can write books about it, but still that experience can never be described. What you experience is your own experience, and somebody else can never understand or know that fully. So Sukshmataram, as Sukshma, very subtle it is. Anubhava Rupam. It is a form of self-experience only. Gunarahitam, Kamanarahitam, Pratikshana Vardhamanam, Avichinnam, Sukshmataram, Anubhava Rupam. 55. Tat prapya tat eva avalokayati tat eva srunoti tat eva bhashayati tat eva chintayati tat prapya tadeva avalokayati tadeva srunoti tadeva bhashayati tadeva chintayati. Breaking it up, padangal. Tat prapya tat eva avalokayati, tat eva srunoti, tat eva bhashayati, tat eva chintayati. Once you grab it, once you get hold of it, not in any big amount, just a slightest, even a passing taste, you experience that selfless love to Bhagavan. Sincerely, you shed one tear for Bhagavan. Just one tear. That's all. For Bhagavan, not for anything else. Not for you, not for all the desires you have. Tear for Bhagavan's sake. Think of all the difficulties, pains that Rama went through, what Krishna went through, or even Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba went through. Physically, how much they have suffered. Think about it and just shed one tear for that. See what happens. Then tat prapya, that means you have grabbed it. That love for God. That is what we are talking of. Not for anything else. Love for God. Forget there is no qualification, there is no stipulations, there is no limitations. Just love Him. We may be selfish, that's okay. That moment love Him, 100%. Just then see, tat prapya, once you attain it, then what happens? Tat eva avalokayati. Then wherever you see only that prema. Everything appears loving to you. The whole world, the Panchabhudangal, everything appears loving to you. You begin to see the effulgence of love in everything that is present. Once you grab it. Then tadeva srunoti. Whatever you hear that as the voice of that sweet voice of that love only, that prema only. Tadeva bhashayati. Whatever you speak only about it. Tadeva chintayati. You think only about that. This is what happened to the Gopikas in the Rasa Krida. This is what happened to Vidura when he went there carrying the message from Bhagavan to convey to the Gopikas. And in turn, when he told them, I have a message from Krishna, and the Gopikas replied to him, hurry up, tell us very quickly and briefly, because our mind and heart are always with Krishna. We cannot take it away even for a second to hear and listen to your message. But because you say Krishna has sent you, okay, hurry up and tell us quickly. Because we cannot leave our thoughts, our single-pointed, all the time embracing Bhagavan Sri Krishna. That is what they told them. This is what Tyagaraja sings. Nitisala Sukama Ramudu Sannidhi Seva Sukama. That's what he says. He says, what is this wealth? Is it going to give me Sukam? I cannot take it. Because if I want to go and accept the wealth that the king is offering me, I have to take my hands off your lotus feet, which I am embracing. I cannot do that. Ramudu Sannidhi Seva Sukama, he says. So that is what happens. That prema, that bhakti for Bhagavan, everything becomes him. Tat prapya tadeva avalokayati, tadeva srunoti, tadeva bhashayati, tadeva chintayati. Let me stop here just for a second. One of you had sent a question to me on Sutram number Yogakshemam Tyajati, Sutram number 47. The Yogakshemam Tyajati, the question is how to understand it. And so here, Yogam and Kshemam. And we saw there are two things to learn from this Yogakshemam Tyajati. Okay, again, Yogam means attaining something that you don't have already. Yogam, the meaning we're talking about ultimately is merging with Bhagavan, merging with the selfless love that we are and becoming, not becoming that, experiencing that, becoming fully and giving up our identity of separation from it. That is a Yogam. The path of achieving that is also Yoga on the spiritual field. Now, on the laukikam, on the worldly matters, there are things that we don't have, that we try to attain, we take efforts to attain. That is also natural impulses. Bhagavan makes us do things to, where to go and get food, or if you are not well, get medicine, or whatever it is, right? And education, so many things we do. So all the things we do is in order to attain things that we don't have. That process of attaining things that we don't have is what is called yoga in the Laukika terminology. Of course, we are seeking happiness in the worldly matter. That's what we try to do in everything we do. And because we are seeking it in the wrong place, we don't get permanent happiness. We get temporary happiness always followed by, without exception, by misery. Okay? So that's another matter. So yogam here means obtaining things, or getting things that you don't already have. Now, once you get the things that you don't have, you have to protect it. You don't want to lose it. That is called kshemam. So yogam here, Laukika terminology, is to obtain things. Kshemam is the things obtained have to be protected. Yoga kshemam tyajati, here in the Laukika matters is what Bhagavan is talking about, is Narada is talking about as a first step. For a bhakta, he is not concerned about getting things for his sustenance and stuff like that. Same way a child is not worried. A mother takes care of the child. When the infant is hungry, the child grows up, the mother gives bath to the child, gives food to the child, puts the child to sleep, plays with the child, whatever it is. Child is hungry, the mother gives the food. The child is not worried about. Child is not going to trying and going to get food, right? The mother takes care of it. So for a bhakta, it is like that. He is not worried. Bhagavan, the Divine Mother, takes care of all his worldly needs. This is important to understand. Not only that, Bhagavan also protects the caring and the availability and the attainment of all the needs of the bhakta, both in this world as well as on spiritual matters. So yogakshemam tyajati means to give up. This is the characteristic of a bhakta. How by doing that he crosses this maya, right? That's what Narada is talking about in Sutra 47. This is where the central slokam in Bhagavad Gita is the most important. The Gita balance, it is called. Right? That is the fulcrum of the Bhagavad Gita. Is right there in Adhyayam 9. It's a central slokam. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janaha parjupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yoga kshemam vahami aham. For those bhaktas who are thinking only of me without any other thought, who are thinking of me without considering me as different and separate from them, and nityabhiyuktanam, always they are doing this, pariupasate, they are worshipping me, and they have seated themselves close to me, keeping me very close to them. For those people, their yoga and kshemam, I take care. Bahami, aham bahami. I am saying this. I take care. So when Bhagavan takes care of your yoga kshemam, you are automatically given up your yogam and kshemam. Yoga kshemam tyajati takes place automatically. Like the way a child automatically gives up yogam and kshemam. As a child is like an infant, a newly born baby, or even till the first year or second year or whatever, right? The child is not bothered about its yogam and kshemam. The mother is taking care of it. The child gives up the yogam and kshemam, completely dependent on the mother. I hope that answers the question from the person who sent me the email on that. Now we move on. If it doesn't answer it, please let me know after the session is over. Now we will go to Sutram number 56. Gauni Tridha Gunabhedat Artadi Bhedatva. Gauni Tridha Gunabhedat Arti Adi Bhedadva. Arti Adi Bhedadva. Or Artha Adi Bhedadva. Whichever way you want to keep it. Gauni Tridha Gunabhedat Artadi Bhedadva. Gauni. Now, the bhakti that Narada was describing, Prakashate Kvapi Patre Gunarahitam Kamanarahitam Tat Prapya Tadeva Avalokayati and all that. Now, what about if the bhakti is not of that nature? What about you love Bhagavan, but it is not the bhakti of Gopikas? Right? We have to attain that. In that process, my devotion to Bhagavan is mixed with selfishness. And it is mixed with his own impurities. Right? So that Gauni, the bhakti, the love for God that is tinged with gunas, with characteristic traits. Remember, the true bhakti is gunarahita, without any natural traits. But what about if the divorce, still I can love Bhagavan, right? I go and worship him in the temple, I go talk to him, please give me that, cure my stomachache or whatever. Nothing wrong in that, because that's the only place we can take our complaints and requests to, is to only to Bhagavan lotus feet. What about those bhakti, Gauni, those things that have got those characteristic traits? They are Tridha. They have three types of characteristic traits. And Guna Bhedate, based upon the characteristic trait, there are three types. There are three differences. Sattvam, Sattvic Bhakti, Rajasic Bhakti, Tamasic Bhakti. That is based upon the gunas. Also, Artadhi Bhedatva. It is also differentiated on the basis of Arti, Jignasu, Arthati and Jnani, as Bhagavan teaches us in Bhagavad Gita. Artha, Adi. Those types of four types of bhaktas are also there. Those bhaktas are very good. Sukrutaha is what Krishna, Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita, talking about those bhaktas. Yes, they are four types. They are also Sukrutaha. They are also doing good things only. Because why? They are coming to me with a request. And Bhagavan says, for our Laukikam, and something I learned from Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, my master, that I've been most blessed beyond my own ability to even imagine, to have the kind of blessing that I've had to know this avatar, to interact with him, this avatar when it came on this earth. One of the things it teaches, the avataram, is that why do you go and beseech and submit and beg from another human being who's as deficient as you are? Come to me. And so, with request, whatever request I have, whether it is illness or whether it is poverty or desire to know or even to embrace Bhagavan, whatever things that you have, take it to him. When you take it to him, Bhagavan likes it. That's why he says Sukrutaha. But don't go to somebody else who's as deficient and limited as you are. Okay, that's a mistake that some of us make. Always go to the Paramatma who's present within you. Have that confidence. He will guide and he will show. Okay? Develop that faith. You go to the temple, beautiful. Go there not for any commercial or social purposes or not to get a name for yourself. That's all wrong. Go there to talk to Bhagavan, your favorite God, in whichever form that you worship. So when you go to Bhagavan, he likes it. And that is what he wants you to do. So, Tridha Gauni. Now, what are the three types of... I will finish this sutram and then we will conclude for today. Okay, I know we are come up to our timeline, but a few more minutes. So, Tridha, the three types of Sattvam, Rajasic, Tamasic, Gauni, the three types of gunas. And what are those? Now, people with anger, with selfishness, and not able to bear their miseries and sufferings and obstacles and difficulties or jealousy or whatever they have got, all the things people have, they go and worship Bhagavan. That kind of a feeling, people who have that's called tamasic bhakti. Now, another set of people, they're also not feeling separate from Bhagavan themselves, but they go and worship God, seeking comfort, seeking fame and reputation, seeking wealth, and all those things, right? You do Lakshmi Kubera Puja, wanting, whatever it is, right? Those people or that bhakti is called Rajasic bhakti. Now, whereas another set of people who really want, Swami, I don't know, I've committed lots of mistakes, I've committed lots of papangal, but now please correct all that. I want to do things the right way. I want to do the puja the right way. I want to learn how to be a bhakta in the proper way. And doing those kind of a thing that takes you in the path of divinity, people desire of that. That bhakti is called Sattvic bhakti. In Bhagavad Gita, that's the Trida Gauni Guna Bhedat. Artha di Bhedatvat, that means the types of bhakti that comes in the Artha Adi. Arti, Jignasu, Artharthi, Jnani. What are those four types? Arti means one who has got difficulties and challenges and miseries, right? And so they go to Bhagavan and removing the difficulties and all that. That bhakti, that person is called an Arti. Jignasu is the person who really wants to know what do the scriptures say, what do the Vedas say, what does Narada Bhakti Sutra say, what is the message here from the elders, from the rishis, who sincerely want to know. That person with the quest to know, he is called a Jignasu. Artharthi is the type of person who goes to Bhagavan with the request for wealth. The wealth could be monetary wealth, mostly it is, right? Or it could be fame, it could be reputation, it could be position in society, it could be power in the company, whatever it is. Those types of things, those people are called Artharthi. Jnani is the set of people who want and seek Bhagavan for Bhagavan's sake, only Bhagavan. They don't want anything else, only Bhagavan. I just want the lotus feet, I want to embrace it. That's all. So that type of a bhakta is called a jnani. So that is what this sutra means. Gauni Tridha Guna Bedate. Based upon the characteristic trait, the gunangal, it is three types. Okay, Sattvic Bhakti, Rajasic Bhakti and Tamasic Bhakti. Now, Arthadi Bhedatvate, based upon the type of devotees, type of bhaktas, it could be an Arti or a Jignasu or an Artharthi or a Jnani. This is what Bhagavan says. This is what Narada says. And in the Artha, the Bhedatvate, reference for you is the Bhagavad Gita, Adhyayam 7, Slokam number 16. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om.